Alright, we gonna watch this breakdown of the Superman trailer. I already saw it, but I didn't watch Emergency Awesome's commentary on it, and I usually always watch it. Because he does like the full breakdowns of shit that nobody else catches. So let's watch it. I'm already, I already got my biases about this movie, man. But we gonna watch it regardless. Like I got my biases about this movie. I'm not even gonna sit here in front like I'm looking forward to this movie. I cannot be the only one that's not looking forward to this shit. I can't be. I don't believe it. This shit looks trash to me. It looks trash. It looks trash. I don't I don't know what world James Gunn is in, and I don't know if he actually cares, but whatever.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. There were a bunch of trailers at the Super Bowl this weekend. Typical big movies you'd expect, like big Marvel trailer for the Thunderbolts, which had Marvel's version of Superman, like we're talking about Superman. Big coincidence there. Other big non-comic book movie trailers, and then there was the Superman footage. Definitely something. Lot to talk about. Not quite what everyone was expecting from the Superman movie. It was mostly an extended look at Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner Green Lantern, some special trailers of James Gunn hyping up Crypto in the movie and the reason he included him in the movie in a shorter version of the previous trailer. Did not get the typical type of hype you would expect from Superman footage. Everyone was expecting a more traditional trailer with more new footage of some kind, but I'll explain what was going on with Nathan Fillion.
Basically, I'll explain it. He's in his artistic bag and he's about to tank the movie. And studios allow big directors and producers to do these things because they feel like it's like they still may generate money. They're completely detached. But in my opinion, the movie's gonna tank. It's already trash, and I don't even care to see it.
Lantern.
But I'm watching the
Probably
preview.
a bad move on James Gunn and DC's part to make this
the
their big
review
reveal,
of
and
the
a good
preview.
move at the same time. Generally, I've always felt like DC's marketing has never been quite as good as other Marvel or non-comic book movie studios. Like, they definitely took
Always been trash.
a swing during this Super Bowl. Like, you're really going for something there. But they do have a history of doing stuff like this, especially at Super Bowls, so it shouldn't be a huge surprise that they didn't swing really big with like a real traditional push. Normally people wouldn't think too much of it if it were just a normal DC movie, but because we're heading into a brand new Superman movie reboot with David Cornswood, and it's the beginning of James Gunn's big reboot of all DC movies, everyone is just waiting to see if it's actually going to work out for them long term. So that's why there's so much more discussion going on about what DC was doing versus Marvel and other big studios. So much is riding on this Superman movie doing well. You have to imagine if it doesn't work out, James Gunn already said that they're going to have to change a lot of their plans for the upcoming movies. So we'll break it all down.
It's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. Like, look at this dude. Look at this dude. Look at the suit. Look at how he looks. He has on hunter snow boots on. It's not gonna work out. I don't know what these directors and people are thinking. This could have worked out back in the early 90s, maybe 80s. I mean, early 80s, maybe 90s. It's not working out now. It's not. We wanted to see Dragon Ball Z S type Superman, the shit from the comics. I don't care about Kent. I don't care what he did for the freaking daily. Let me not get the. I'm about to say Daily Bugle. Is it Daily Bugle? Daily Planet. I don't care any of that shit. All I want to know is how much can Superman F up. That's it. Why am I watching this? Why is this man in a fetal position in the snow? And then he's gonna whistle for Crypto. This is just James Gunn's lifelong dream. He's just making art for himself, and that's a problem. That's a problem.
Down. If you're brand new to the channel, be
Can you tell I already don't like this movie? I don't like it. I don't like it.
sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Starting with the biggest stuff first, Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Most comic book fans probably saw this new footage DC released and instantly understood the vibe DC was going for with this. Like, there is something weird going on here. Why is it so crazy? Why is he such a big douchebag? The problem is when you look at the reactions from non-comic book fans who comprise most of the audience, like typical big comic book fans that have been following this for a long time, are the smallest part of the audience that's supposed to go see this movie. They need everybody on the planet, like everyone and their grandma, to go see this Superman movie. So you wind up with most people going in to see the movie.
I'm not gonna see it. I'm not gonna see it. I'm a bootleg it. I'm gonna tell you I'm a bootleg it. I'm a bootleg it. I'm not gonna see it. I'm not gonna bootleg it. I'm just joking.
Having no idea who most of the characters are besides Superman. Most casual fans probably couldn't tell you the difference between Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, the other major Green Lanterns. But this is a very tongue-in-cheek kind of promo. It's supposed to be funny, like you're meant to laugh at Nathan Fillion during this. It's trying to come off like an epic douchebag because that's exactly how Guy Gardner is in the comics. He's actually relatively accurate in that portrayal. Even though the bowl cut joke is kind of cringe, the bowl cut itself is accurate, even though
he looks like Guy Gardner in the face. He's relatively accurate, but this Guy Gardner, James Gunn, is fat. Like, you just invited your fat friend that may look like him in the face, but he just looks fat. Doesn't fit the outfit or the costume. Just tank the movie. It's gonna tank. Just be prepared for the tank. Just be prepared for it. I hate it. They wasted my time, man. I only got but so many years on this planet. I want to see what I read in the comics. People just messing up shit.
there is some ginger erasure going on here. Technically, Guy Gardner is a ginger. My early assumption is that James Gunn probably did costume tests for Guy Gardner and put a ginger wig on Nathan Fillion's head, and it looks way too ridiculous. Like, he wanted him to look ridiculous like the comics. Apparently going full ginger was just too far for this movie. But I think most non-comic book fans were probably totally confused when they saw him for the first time. Like, why does he look so silly? Shouldn't Nathan Fillion be playing Hal Jordan like the main Green Lantern? Isn't he supposed to be a badass? What's going on? In the context of the actual Superman movie, very clearly, just based on the trailer footage we have of him already, he's going to be just as big of a douche as he is in the Super Bowl footage here. What James Gunn has said is that the Superman movie is mostly going to be about how David Cornswith's new Superman is this Boy Scout of a person who tries to be nice, the paragon of goodness, in a world that doesn't seem like it shares those kinds of values. A really good comp to make is that the world of the DCU in present day is a lot like the world of real-life Twitter. Everybody is terrible to each other, behaving badly, saying the worst, This
is what's gonna happen in the movie theater. I predict this is what's gonna happen in the movie theater. People gonna throw cans and shit at the screen. If only James Gunn could be sitting there. You need like James Gunn, Neil Druckmann, and the dude that made the Batman, all in that theater just to get tomatoes thrown at them, because they know how to tank movies and video games. Just really good at it. Just really good at it. Nobody asked for this Superman. Nobody asked for it. I know I didn't ask for it. I know none of my friends asked for this. I've been reading comics since forever now. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I've been reading comics since forever. Nobody wanted this. We wanted Henry Cavill Superman. We wanted the Dragon Ball Z, unstoppable, show me the power Superman. That's what we wanted. Not this. The costume looks stupid. The actor looks stupid. I just don't care. It's like when I went to go see it. You know what it is? It's like, I think it's like a narcissistic complex between some of these creators, or some of these people that create things. Right? It's like they always explain things as like movies as being art, which is true. Video games being art, which is true. But you got to understand, this art is not going up in an art gallery. You are selling this art, immediately giving this art to consumers. So you're going to get consumer critique. And if you don't make things that the consumer likes, then you're not going to get sales anymore. You know, it's not like if I went through an art gallery, I'm like, oh, I like this piece. I'm going to buy it because it speaks to me. It this, when you make things like this in video games and multimedia art, things that you have to sell, it has to speak to the mass. Nobody asked for this fetal position Superman. Nobody. Nobody. Everyone that I spoke to, they want to see crazy power Superman. They want to see Superman the way how we saw in the very first Henry Cavill movie. Not this. Not this. Like I said, I think it's like a narcissistic thing where they just make things for themselves and wonder why people don't like it because they like it. And wonder why there's no sales or the movie tanked. I thought they do like what's that called where they like pitch certain things to the audience first before they make it. That's like, it's, I can't remember what's it called, but I thought they do things like that. And if they did, nobody listened. Nobody freaking listened. Let me make sure that the Batman. Yeah. And I'm so tired of like seeing origin stories already. Like, how many times are we gonna restart this shit? How many times? I don't care about Clark Kent. I don't care about his life as I just don't care. The Batman. You know what? I'll take it back. The Batman was actually okay, but again, nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that. We wanted to see Batman. If you were gonna restart it, maybe Christian Bale didn't want to come back or whatever. I don't know. But nobody. If you're gonna restart it, then restart it properly. But nobody wanted to see the Batman. At least have it connect to some of the DC universe. Nobody wanted that. You know what? You know who Robert Pattinson would have been good as? Robert Pattinson would have been. He would have made a great Terry McGinnis. Let me show you something. Terry McGinnis. All right. This is let me show y'all. This is Terry McGinnis. That's exactly who Robert Pattinson would have been great for. He fit the whole. He would have been this. He would have been this. This is the movie they needed to make. A new movie. People would have loved this shit. Terry, his whole goth look would have played out perfectly with this. Just like to waste my time. And you know what's so funny? I thought they were gonna do a Batman Beyond because they were like showing like the red bat signal during the Bat movie trailer and shit like that. I thought, but I got fooled. I was fooled. Maybe I was hoping too much. But Robert Pattinson would have made a great Terry McGinnis. Not taking anything away from the Batman, but nobody wanted it. So back to this trash. I don't want to see this, but whatever.
Worst possible things that you could possibly say and thinking that they'll get away with it. People like Lex Luthor probably going to be used for some Elon Musk jokes in the movie, but you get the idea. But according to James Gunn, through his actions in the movie, Superman is supposed to remind people of a time when everyone wasn't so terrible to each other. Just in general, the world was a nicer place.
You know who I'm excited to see? I'm excited to see this motherfucker. I want to know who is under this suit. He's portraying what I wanted to see on the screen. Some like I'm punching through walls, lifting stadium shit. But whatever.
More understanding kind of place. And I think this means that
nobody knows who Mr. Terrific is. Nobody knows. You know, They brought back his exact
He's
costume
using the
from the
Guy
comic, bro.
Gardner Green Lantern is an example of the worst kind of superhero who says he's a
Like,
hero,
what year does
uses
this take
Green
place
Lantern
in?
ring, his powers to stop dangerous threats from space, like all Green
Like, Guy Gardner to me looks so stupid. What year does this take place in? Is this like the 1970s, 80s? What year? Please tell me.
Lanterns normally would. But in reality, he's the worst possible person you could imagine. Super cynical, he probably hates people just in general. He fires his Green Lantern ring at a crowd of regular bystanders outside the building here in the trailer, something Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart would never do. I think he's one example in the movie how superheroes in present day can be just as terrible as regular supervillains, and it's not all black and white as to who's bad and who's good, who's a supervillain, who's a superhero. You probably have villains who are totally chill.
I love the Lex Luthor though. I can't even front. I like it. I like it. Reminds me of the Lex Luthor from Smallville, which he did a great job.
Dudes love humanity. Really good example of this phenomenon is Lex Luthor, who's traditionally a villain to Superman in the comics. You typically think of Superman as the hero, Lex Luthor as the villain, but if you look at it from Lex Luthor's perspective, he actually hates Superman because he feels like Superman's presence weakens humanity. Because they rely on him so much, Lex Luthor feels like it dooms the human race to eventual extinction because they won't gain the skills or the abilities that they need to save themselves someday. So if you were talking to Lex Luthor, he would say that he's the ultimate humanist. But if they don't wind up killing off Guy Gardner totally in the...
That's a good way to look at it, though. They usually do these, like, villain things in Japanese, like, anime, where the villain has, like, a good take as to why they become a villain. But I never really thought of Lex Luthor like that, and it makes sense. I can see his point. You become too reliable on somebody to save you all the time, and you're never able to save yourself.
Movie. I'm hoping they don't, because Nathan Fillion is awesome. Hopefully they keep him around much longer. Is that Superman will slowly turn him around on being a dick all the time through his actions in the movie. Like the movie ends, and Guy Gardner, if he's still alive, is slightly less of an ass going forward. Superman, through his actions, starts to inspire people.
Are they kind of trying to troll me? Goku ended up like that after he did some crazy... I can't see this man doing it, but whatever. I said I wanted Dragon Ball Z. They put this guy in it. I didn't see this. I didn't see this part.
To be better on the planet. If you haven't been following the character in the comics for a long time, originally Guy Gardner was created in the late 1960s during the Silver Age, but didn't become the main Green Lantern of the comics till the 1980s. When he debuted, they said he was meant to represent a jingoistic parody of an ultra-macho, red-blooded American male, and they've kept that depiction of his character to the comics in present day as well. Like, he's always been that way in the comics. So when you see Nathan Fillion looking all ridiculous, acting like a giant douche, Guy Gardner has always been like this, always looked like this.
Yeah, but his looks chunky.
Fans probably understood the joke here. Like, oh, this is meant to be a funny clip, you're meant to laugh at him. He will probably get his ass handed to him in the movie. But you have all the casuals on the other side of this thinking this is the most terrible looking thing ever. Like, why would you use this as your Super Bowl trailer? This is crazy. So that's why it's generally probably a bad idea for DC to use this joke. Like, they probably should have just gone with a straight-up traditional Super Bowl trailer. There are a couple other big Easter eggs going on in this footage, though. We get a much better look at his Green Lantern suit and his Green Lantern ring. And there's a lot we can say about the suit itself. Like, there's a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy comments going on here. But zoom and enhance on his Green Lantern ring. Notice that it looks like the exact same one that Ryan Reynolds wore during the Green Lantern movie when he played Hal Jordan. Like, the design is the exact same. Ryan Reynolds said after that Green Lantern movie, because it was a super suit, like it was totally CG, which he then made fun of extensively during the first Deadpool movie, he could...
Ryan Reynolds in his own little hot water right now.
Couldn't steal the actual suit from set after they finished filming, but he did steal his Green Lantern ring from the movie, which he still has today. You might remember during the pandemic a couple years ago, this is him wearing that ring, drinking his aviation gin, which he owned the brand at the time, like he sold it since then, so this was a sly advertisement for a product that he was selling. But this was him rewatching that Green Lantern movie for the first time since the premiere in 2011. He said he'd never watched the movie again after he saw it at the premiere. Made fun of it constantly through all the Deadpool movies, although I don't remember a ton of Green Lantern jokes in Deadpool and Wolverine, because most of that movie was clowning on the Fox era of Marvel X-Men movies, other pre-MCU Marvel movies, so they were already stuffing that with those kinds of jokes. The closest he got to making a DC joke during that was actually a Rock Black Adam joke about the hierarchy of power changing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One of the funnier things, too, is that when James Gunn was hired by DC officially to reboot the movies, start working on the Superman movie, everything else, he said one of his first phone calls was to Ryan Reynolds asking if he wanted to come back and play his Hal Jordan Green Lantern again. That was mostly them.
I don't know if Ryan Reynolds gonna come back and do anything with what's going on right now.
Being bros and James Gunn joking with him, but I love how quickly Ryan Reynolds dismissed the idea, like absolute hard pass, even though obviously he understood that they were just joking with each other. If for some crazy reason he'd actually told James Gunn yes he would come back as Hal Jordan, they probably would have used some old age makeup and he'd have been a grizzled older version of his Hal Jordan to the younger Jon Stewart during the Green Lantern HBO show that they're about to film right now.
What? I didn't know about this. But he fits. Lord Jesus, he fits. This is the same dude that played Mufasa, right?
Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. What? Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Yeah, Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it is. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. Wait, is he about to say it?
Ow. But he absolutely hated
Aaron
Green
Carter?
Lantern, makes fun of it all the time, never wants to come back, and probably didn't
Aaron
want to
Carter?
sign up for another
Let me
10
see.
years of DC movies and a long-running TV show commitment. Most of his time now spent in the Marvel Universe as Marvel Jesus, Deadpool, very bright history in the
Aaron
future of Marvel
Pierre.
movies. They will
Aaron
definitely
Pierre.
make him do those until he's 90. The other big thing most people were talking about in this whole Green Lantern promo was mostly clowning on Guy Gardner's suit. It looks like a Guardians of the Galaxy style physical suit. So a lot of people were thinking between this and the trailer that we've already seen that the Superman movie would just be Guardians of the Galaxy vibes, but with DC characters. But the actual suit has a lot of Easter eggs baked into it.
Bro, my bad. They can't do that with DC characters. You can't have, like, I don't know. I don't want to see Superman joking. I don't want to see Superman joking around. And Mr. Terrific was the only person that should be have like a jokey vibe to them is Green Lantern, and he already looks ridiculous and kind of pudgy and doesn't really fit the suit. He fits the face. Everything else fits, but I don't know. He doesn't look like the comic book Guy Guardian. It just doesn't. Don't they're gonna ruin it. It's already ruined. It's already ruined.
Like it's the same type of suit that Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific are wearing, and they all have Maxwell Lord's company logo on them. He's being played by James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, who's Kraglin and all the...
You hear that? This is, like I said, this is his own little art project. I'm gonna hire my brother, that played characters that doesn't fit, and just tank the money. I mean, tank the movie and take the studio money.
Marvel movies. I think this means in the context of the Superman movie, Maxwell Lord is sponsoring their small...
Let me see this. Blue Beetle, Buster Gold. Does he look like
team. They look kind of like the Terrifics, but it's kind of a Justice League International Easter egg from the comics because that was the version of the team that Maxwell Lord sponsored. But in the actual movie itself, they're not the Justice League or a version of the Justice League. James Gunn said that they don't even exist yet. Like, there's been no discussion of any Justice League happening. That won't actually start till you start to see Batman and the other main big characters of the DCU start to surface. But I think the whole idea of these cynical superheroes, like this cynical world, you have Maxwell Lord sponsoring their team, paying them a salary, like they're professional superheroes, like professional athletes with endorsements. There have been a lot of examples of this in other superhero movies, other comic book properties, like Mystery Men back in the day is a good example of this, and on The Boys, because the Seven, Homelander, all superheroes in that world are created by Vought and used solely for the purpose of making more money, merchandising, movies, all that stuff. It'd be like if Disney had an actual Compound V serum to create the superheroes in the Marvel movies as if they were real people. But instead of using them to make the world better, they just use them purely for this giant profit machine, this big corporate machine. So the whole idea of this sponsored superhero team in the DCU in Superman is just another example of how cynical the world has gotten.
I like how she
And
looks.
Superman is the juxtaposition for that, like the ultimate Boy Scout, the paragon of goodness, because he helps people without any expectation of money or being paid for his work. If you actually thought about it, Superman in the comics is meant to be very poor compared to typical characters. Like Batman is probably an extreme example because he's a billionaire. But he's actually kind of poor compared to even normal level superheroes because his only real income is from the Daily Planet. And reporters, if you don't know, get paid really, really badly. But everyone posts all your Superman and Green Lantern reactions in the comments. It's definitely something, like there'll be a lot of talk about this for a little while until the next big trailer.
Whatever. I don't have much faith in it. That's my opinion. Maybe unpopular. Let me know in my comments. Is what it is. Peace.